Hi, this is Mike from Mike's Unboxing Reviews and How To, and on today's video, I'm going to take a look at upgrading a PC. And this isn't any ordinary PC, this is actually one which we sold to somebody in the local Bristol area. Danny, we'll call him for now, and we're doing some upgrades. So he's decided that his CPU and just the system overall isn't doing quite as well as he'd like to, and he had a little bit of money, so he wanted to do an upgrade. So he came to me and asked me for some recommendations, and this one was actually quite a difficult one because this is a slightly older motherboard. So we're looking at an MSI B450 Carbon Wi-Fi. Processor-wise, we're looking at a Ryzen 5 3600, and we've got an RTX 2070 rocking 16 gigs of DDR4 memory at 3200 megatransfers. So it's a pretty nice little PC and great for gaming, but if you want to kind of upgrade it, you're in a little bit of a no man's land with the B450 motherboard. So we didn't want to spend an absolute fortune on a complete platform update. So I suggested that it might be worth doing the kind of the last best processor you can on this platform, which at the time of recording is the Ryzen 7 5700X3D. The 5800X3D is a very limited supply and basically no longer made and is a ridiculously high price. Also runs as hot as the sun and potentially might need some cooling updates. So this, I think the 5700X3D is a great choice. Now the secondary choice which we're going to be doing is upgrading the RAM. Now this is going to be where I'm going to be breaking one of my own golden rules, so stay tuned to see how well or how badly this goes, or if we should be worried at all. Now this RAM is the Viper Steel DDR4 memory. This is a 16 gig kit, and you're probably thinking, well Mike, you've already said it's got a 16 gig kit. Yes, we are adding another 16 gig kit to it. Now generally when we're upgrading RAM, my suggestion is always to remove the existing RAM, sell it on, and buy new. So that way you can use dual channel, just 2 sticks of RAM, which works very well in most cases. With a lot of platforms these days, putting 4 sticks of RAM in can put a lot of extra stress on the memory controller and can cause problems, blue screens of death, and also sporadic performance. So that's not a great thing sometimes, so we are going to go with it. He's bought it. He said this is the way he wanted to do it, so I'm kind of going with it. So we'll see how this goes. So there's a few things that I've done as prerequisites before we actually get this process started. First of all, actually just turned on the machine, make sure it all works. Then I've taken it outside, given it a little blast through, clean off all the dust and debris, just to clean out any of the dust which might be in any of the RAM slots or anything like that, just to make sure it's nice and clean. So if we do get any RAM problems, at least we know it's not down to a dirty slot. Also as well, I've checked in the system to see what the BIOS version is on this particular board. Now being this was bought, I think it's about 2 years ago, the BIOS is from 2022, so definitely we need to update that to support our new processor. And also I did a very quick Cinebench test just to validate that this is actually working as it should do at the moment. And we scored around about 9,000 points, which is pretty much bang on for Cinebench R23 with a Ryzen 5 3600. I was going to run all manner of other tests as well, like benchmarking, graphics card, etc, but we're not really concentrating on that. We're looking at a CPU improvement here. So I think the best thing to do is to now get started. Let's head over to the computer, and I'm going to download the latest BIOS, we'll install it on here, and then we can get round to the nitty gritty of actually swapping out the CPU. So let's start off with the BIOS update. So we've gone to the motherboard website. So this is for the B450 Gaming Pro Carbon AC. Probably the best B450 board that was ever made. So yeah, pretty nice board. And let's take a look at the BIOS updates. So what have we got? I think we are in 2.8. I think that was the last one, which is probably quite an old one now. Yeah, where are we? 2.8 or 2.8. No, seems to be a different BIOS version that's on there, but anyway, whatever. So this is the motherboard, so let's get the latest version. Unfortunately, it's going to be a beta because they're not going to be doing detailed testing on older platforms now, but this has got all the updates and is only around about a month or so old. So yeah, if there's any major problems, this would have been pulled already. So we'll go with this one and we'll see how it goes. So click on download. We'll save it to the Windows desktop. So now we've got our file here, so we're going to unzip this. So we do extract all, click on extract. Now normally we would do the kind of the BIOS flashback thing, but I'm actually going to update the BIOS via the BIOS. If your system's working, it's kind of pointless really doing the BIOS flashback method. It just adds another layer of complexity. So we're going to do it from the BIOS itself. So go into the folder, we've got our file there, the 1H4. We don't need to rename it. All we need to do is to put it on our USB drive, which I believe is empty, yes, and I'm pretty sure if we take a look, it's already formatted FAT32. Yep, that's absolutely fine. So we'll do that. We will stick our file, just this one, don't need the text file, and we'll copy that, go to our USB drive, right click, paste, job done. So now we can eject that drive, safe for removal, so we can take that out, And now we'll fire up the other PC and we'll do the BIOS flash. Okay, so we're in the BIOS and there's a few things that I've noticed already. So for some reason it seems XMP hasn't been working previously. So we'll definitely address that to squeeze a little bit more power out of the system. Game boost is off. And looking at the BIOS version, so again, yes, 2B0, which was from 2022. So this is a pretty easy one to do in terms of updating. So we'll just click on M-Flash and I'll say system will auto reboot and enter flash mode. Do you want to enter flash mode? Yes, we do. And there are some things that I wanted to change there, but well, we'll save those anyway. Chances are they're going to be reset when the BIOS recovers itself anyway. So PC is now restarting, so just leave it alone, let it do its own thing. Sorry, the fan noise of the RTX 2070 is a little bit excessive. And here we go, entering flash mode. So it should automatically detect it on our SanDisk. Okay, so we're re-entering flash mode now, and yes, we can see straight away that it's picked up our SanDisk drive. So I actually made the error, which a lot of people make, and I didn't look specifically at the motherboard model. I just assumed it was just the standard B450 Carbon, but it's not. It's the Carbon Max Wi-Fi. So the Max version has a different BIOS. So yeah, that is why things are different. So now we've got the file. So it says, are you sure you want to select this file? Yes, we are. Normally, if there's a problem with the BIOS, it won't either let you see the file or it won't let you flash the file. So if you're experiencing similar things when you're trying to do an update on your system and you're sort of banging your head against the wall, why will it not see the flash file? Just double check, triple check even, that you are actually using the correct BIOS for your motherboard. It is super important. So we're going to let it carry on do its thing, and then we can go back in, configure some settings in the BIOS, and then we can start doing some installation. Okay, so we've done all that bit. I've got my head torch on there so we can actually see what I'm doing. So now we need to remove our CPU cooler. So just do a couple of reverse turns on each side of the cooler. This one's actually the Arctic Freezer A36, I think it is called. And yeah, nice little cooler. Should be fine for our CPU, although the proof will be in the pudding. Now you've probably seen from some footage a little bit earlier on today that the CPU in here was getting to about 63 degrees Celsius under a Cinebench load, which is absolutely fine. That's a very, very respectable temperature. And I'm hoping that the 5700X3D isn't going to be outrageously hotter. I'm kind of expecting it to get around about the 80 degrees mark, but we'll see. And it looks like my thermal paste application was yeah, pretty good. So we're going to give that a quick clean up with some isopropyl alcohol and some wipes. Just use some kitchen towel or Blue Roll. In fact, I'll put some links for Blue Roll in the video description if you want to help support the channel. Links will be affiliated or potentially be affiliated, so if you do purchase anything, we do get a very, very small commission from Amazon or any of the suppliers listed. Doesn't cost you any extra, but it does go some way to helping us out. So hopefully here we can actually still get to this arm without having to remove that bracket. And nope, there we go. What a great design that is. Well done, Arctic. So we're going to have to remove the bracket on this side. We shouldn't have to remove the whole thing, so we can just undo these screws a little. And then if I do one of them completely, we should be able to then just push the bar slightly out of the way. So move that out of the way, then we can get to the retention arm. Yep, that clicks out of place, and then we can remove the CPU from the socket. Now we can grab our new shiny processor and let it drop into the socket there. Not sure if you can see that, but it is a Ryzen 7 5700X3D. So lower the mechanism, and we can put our bracket back on the top. Put the screw back down through. Then we can tighten both of those up all the way down. Making sure that's nice and firm. And I'll check the other ones as well, just in case they've ever come a little bit loose. No, they're absolutely fine. Next we'll apply some thermal paste. So I'm going to use the Thermal Grizzly. believe that was sent to us by Rick H. Thank you very much, Rick. So we put a bunch on there. And I am actually going to spread that out across the entire heatsink. For those of you that are squeamish, I'm going to cut that bit of footage. So as you can see there, we've done the kind of the cake spread method. And what I'll do is, just to please some of you out there, do another little dab in the middle, which then under compression that will squish out, and if there's any imperfections in the spread, then that will work absolutely fine. So now we can put our CPU cooler back on top, line it up with the screws on the retention modules, and then we want to just do a couple of turns just to get that started. You can do reverse turns to start with, so you hear the click, and do a couple of turns. We'll do the same on the other side. There's that click. And I'm just going to use equal pressure, so about 3 turns on each side. And just gradually go all the way down until the screws bottom out. Now if this takes about 1 turn, we've done it bang on. There we go, half a turn. Not too bad at all, not too shabby. So that is the CPU cooler installed. I'm going to clip the fan back into place. Pretty easy on these Arctic models. Just a little bit of a push there, make sure none of the wires are trapped inside. There we go, we're ready to rock and roll. So now we can turn our attention to the RAM. Now really I would suggest probably a good idea to figure this up, turn on the PC, do some benchmarks and actually see if the CPU is okay, because it's a new CPU. But I'm going to go ahead and stick the RAM in for a penny, in for a pound. Worst case scenario, we can always take the RAM back out after. So I'm going to leave the existing RAM in the slots that it's in. I'm just going to open up the jewels, so I'm going to put the new sticks in slots 1 and 3. We've already got RAM in slots 2 and 4, which is the norm. This way as well, if I do it this way, at least I'll know that the new sticks are in slots 1 and 3, so there won't be too much confusion if there is any problems. Although I'm hoping this is going to be pretty straightforward. So with the RAM slots, just aim for one of the edges and equal pressure, both ends. That clicks into place nicely. Make sure the jewels are open before you start doing this, and also make sure that the little cutout matches up with the cutout on the motherboard. That doesn't look very straight in there. What's going on? Oh, there we go. Perfect. So now we've got all 4 of our sticks of RAM in there. That looks very nice indeed. Just going to give each one a little bit of a firm press and a wiggle. Make sure they're all in. So there we go. That is the job done. Now we can fire up and see if this thing actually works. Okay, so at the moment we've got no signal, but let's turn it on and see if this actually works. I am going to tap the delete key because I do want to go into the BIOS first of all to set things up. Fingers crossed. That sounds promising, you know. Hopefully this is RAM training. Incredible. I was a little bit worried, I've got to be honest with you. But it's booted, and there we go. So the BIOS has been reset back to defaults, and if we take a look in the top corner here, Ryzen 7 5700 X3D 8-core processor. Fan dabby dozy. And where does it say our RAM? Oh, there we go, memory size. Yep, 32 gigs. That's showing as well. Excellent stuff. So it's working. I don't know why I sound surprised, but it kind of is a little bit sometimes. So I want to go into hardware monitor. Now when you do a BIOS update, you're going to want to reconfigure certain things like your fans. So set your stuff back to PWM for your CPU fan. And I think on this one, it was system fan 2 for the connected case fans. So we can turn those down a little bit. Keep the noise levels down. Are they still spinning? Yep, they're still spinning, so that's all good. So that is our fans done. So let's take a look at the other things we can do. So we're going to want to have a look at memory. And in fact, let's go into the advanced bar. So check all the settings there. So we'll just have a quick troll through. Today's date is the 24th, the 10th. So 10/24/2024. Time is approximately 20 past 4, so 16:20. That's fine. Just make sure that all the PCI stuff is set as it should. Resizable bar and also above 4G decoding. Very important that those are done. That is excellent. I don't need anything else in there. Super I/O. Turn off the serial ports because that's kind of pointless. And I think that is it. We're not going to worry about any AMD overclocking for now. So I suppose the most important thing here is to give the old XMP a go. So if we look into our OC settings and XMP, so what profiles have we got here? So there's 2 profiles and it looks like they're both, yeah, they're both identical profiles. So yeah, we've got much, well, no real choices here. So we're just going to wing it. So we'll go for the DDR4 3200 at CL16 with subtimings 2020-40, and yeah, we'll see how that works. Fingers crossed it'll be okay. So we've set our PWM curves, we've also set our fan temperatures, and also we've disabled the serial port and turned on XMP, which should be enough. So let's click on yes, and hopefully the system is going to reboot a couple of times now. And yeah, we'll see what happens. Okay, so it has booted up. The memory is running at a very weird frequency. So DDR frequency is at 1066, but it's running at a frontside bus to DRAM ratio of 3:32. So I'm not entirely sure what that means. It's been a while since I've had a DDR4 system on the go. So I need to check that, but we'll see what the speeds are like and see how it's running. You see the SPDs, that is running basically at the JDEC speed there, but it seems to be running at the right CAS latency, just possibly lower voltage. So maybe we'll take a look at that. I've got a feeling the problem we've got here is because the RAM which has been purchased, because even though it's Patriot, it's made by SK Hynix, and the original stuff is also SK Hynix. No, slot 3 is Samsung, and slot 4 is Samsung, so it's counting the slots differently. So yeah, the original memory was the Patriot Samsung branded, and the new stuff, although it looks the same and is the same part number and everything, is actually made by SK Hynix. So they are very similar, but potentially they're not compatible with each other, which is a little bit problematic. So maybe we'll have to look into that and see what can be done. Regardless, the CPU's installed and that is working. So it's idling around about 36 degrees, which is not too bad. So I'm going to fire up a quick Cinebench and we'll see how that performs now. So the score we were trying to beat with our Ryzen 5 3600 is around about 9,060 points, I believe it was, somewhere around there. Just slightly over 9,000 points. Now clearly this CPU isn't really designed for Cinebench type tasks, it's more for all-out gaming, but we should see a significant increase in the score regardless. Ooh, getting on for nearly 4,000 points better. So 13,387. Now if you're ever wondering if your CPU is performing kind of as it should do, you can go to CPU Monkey and put your details in there. And if we go to Cinebench R23 multi-core, and yeah, we should be getting 13,786 as a kind of approximation there. So that's what we should be getting, and we got 13. So we're about 400 points off, which, considering this is an older platform and the memory possibly isn't running as it should do, I think that's definitely close enough. So excellent, everything seems to be working. A few little tweaks aside, then I think this is actually going to be a significant upgrade. It feels faster, feels much snappier in use. I am considering looking at the temperatures here, putting at a heatsink on the M.2 drive. I think that's absolutely fine. So yeah, overall happy days, upgrade done, and do some tweaks and then get it back to the customer. So there we go, bit of a mess to clear up, but other than that, we're pretty much done. So hopefully you've enjoyed this video, a little bit of an upgrade of a PC, which we built previously. If you have enjoyed this video, then please feel free to hit the like button if you want to see more content like this on a daily basis. Maybe consider hitting subscribe and the chime notification. That way you'll be notified of future video releases. But for now, I've been Mike. This is Mike's Unboxing Reviews and How To, and hopefully we'll catch you in the very next video. Thanks for watching.